This is my Bertolt, Brecht and Epic Theatre presentation by me, Amy King. What is epic theatre? It is usually theatre that is based on political views. It is to estrange the audience from their emotions and thoughts. Makes the audience think really differently from when they initially went in. Giving the audience space to think and feel freely about the story. It is about the spectator and about empowering the spectator to be active and watch critically. It is to feel differently and think differently from the characters on stage. Laugh when they cry when they laugh is a big thing in epic theatre, and it's having the freedom to feel differently about every character and their feelings. What are the main styles of epic theatre? There's usually direct address, narration and songs as commentary, use of signs, use of masks and movement, large characters within a minimal costume or set, and props. There's usually stylized gestures and movements, and deliberate choices to remind the audience that they are watching a play. So when they go into it, they're thinking, oh, we're going to watch a normal play, but there's going to be things like scene changes in the middle of it, or there's going to be some lighting choices that contrast with what's going on, just to make sure that the audience stay alert and know that it's not just a normal play that they're going to watch. How does it differ from realism? It is making you feel differently from the characters, whereas realism makes you feel the same thing as the characters on stage, makes you think the same thing as the characters on stage, doesn't change any views of yourself when you leave. It is making you feel estranged from your thoughts, and makes you think completely differently, whereas realism, it doesn't. It makes you question them, and it's breaking an illusion. So when you go into it, you get addressed from the characters, you get addressed, so it's breaking that fourth wall, and it's making you think, oh, well, they do know that we're here, this is not just a performance, this is real life. And it's performances of real life situations just put on to perform, but whereas real life can be changed, so can theatre. Who is Brecht? Brecht was a epic theatre practitioner. He ended up being the leading theoretician after writing a play called Zucker. I'm not too sure. He was also a playwright and a poet. He studied medicine and took classes in theatre. He worked with Aaron Piscator, who was a highly political person, as well as who was the first multimedia director. Brecht also apprenticed with Max Reinhardt, and he wanted theatre to be an educational place rather than a place of just entertainment. And he created a group to put his theories to test into practice. What was the political environment when Brecht was writing his plays? He was in one of his plays. I'm guessing a lot of them seen as he was living abroad for 3 years. He was in California while in exile. He started writing when the tides had changed, and the Allies started winning against Hitler in World War II. He imagined a society that would emerge after the war, and he wanted the world to be a better place afterwards. So he put these things in place. He wrote against the backdrop of fascism, and this was a time when a lot of people were emotionally involved in Nazism. So he was trying to change their views on the world through that. My feet hurt. Why did Brecht develop epic theatre? He wanted to break the illusion that presents itself when we're watching theatre. He wanted to change the way the audience thought rather than what the audience actually thought rather than what they thought. Confusing. They wanted to be something like theatre to be done for a reason and for it to have a meaning at the end. Every single scene was its own episode, so it was a standalone thing. He wanted stories to be told for a reason rather than just be entertainment, and he wanted to forget the ideologies of realistic theatre, as he thought realistic theatre was about capitalism, fascism and sexism. If a production was to be performed on stage, what would it look like? It usually would be minimal sets. Some of the scenes could be written on half a curtain, which was a big thing, as it was like a construction thing, or on placards or signs. There could be changes to the scenes during the performance, as it's playing in front of an audience. The lights and sound could contrast to the context of the story, and the construction of the theatre will be on show to remind the audience that it's all artificial. And I read somewhere where it was like, he brought the real life theatre was real life situations, and it can be changed and constructed. So real life was a way that you can change and construct in different ways, so that's why he wanted to do it. What audience was he hoping to reach with his productions? I believe he was hoping to reach adult audiences, as or at least people who have a political say in the country. I know in England you can't, if you've got to be 18 to vote, so he would have been aiming for them kind of people that would be able to actually have a say. He wanted people who could think critically about matters that he was presenting. People like children wouldn't be able to understand the story or the meaning of the performance and wouldn't think critically. Adults have been washed up in the world, so they don't ask questions, whereas children do, and that's why Brecht would target audiences like that. What is the alienation effect? It is the denaturalization of audiences and their expectations. It is to design distance. It is designed to distance the audience from emotional involvement to the story. This is done through jolting reminders that the theatre is artificial, and this is where audiences feel estranged and from what they actually take for granted. Thank you for watching my information on Brecht and epic theatre. That is all. These are additional notes on the alienation effect and how it's used in sets and lights. So for lights, it is usually exposed. So all the lighting and the ropes are all exposed to the audience. So it makes them realise that this is actually constructed pretty much right in front of them. Brecht also flooded the stage with harsh white light, which can disorientate the audience a bit more, as it's not like a hue of yellow or anything like that. It's really harsh and makes them feel completely differently to what they're supposed to be, what they think they're supposed to be feeling, but they're not, because it's all different. And it's a constant reminder that they need to be thinking about the things that are on stage in a more critical view. As for set, they used half curtains, which shows that it is slightly part of construction of like, usually they'd use like get rid of the curtain completely or use a full curtain, but they used only half. He wanted to purge from anything magical on stage, so he wanted to purge everything from it, of the magical side. So how it can be really, really intriguing, and you think, oh my god, this is amazing, but really thinking something else completely different. They used signs at the start of scenes to tell the beginning of a story or the beginning of a scene. There was also set changes in the view of the audience to constantly remind them that this is a play that they're watching, this is just some form of entertainment, but you need to start thinking critically about life. There was also something else that I read up on. Theatre is real life scenes which are constructed, so life can be constructed and changed too, and that's what Brecht wanted to put across to his audience. Thank you.